Hi everyone, welcome to World of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is some more replays from Asian Infinity. Asian Infinity running around in his T54, the tier 9 medium Russian tank. He's on fiery salient and he's lucky enough to be top tier in this game where there's only 2 tier 9 tanks on each side. Let's see what he can do in this favourite tank of a lot of people, the T54 medium tank. It's pretty quick, as you can see. He's driving around up towards the hill on the eastern flank on fiery salient, and he has got a pretty cool camo job there. You can see the gun on the T54 does 320 average damage, penetration of 201 and 330 penetration with the premium rounds, which is a pretty handy amount of penetration for a medium gun. And of course the T54, known for its reasonably mobile, but it is Russian, so it drives like a Russian tank. Drives a lot like the T62A and the Object 140, which are the 2 tier 10 medium tanks that this tank leads to. Now if you look closely, and if I zoom in a little bit, you'll see he's got 2 marks of excellence on this tank, Asian Infinity, so he absolutely loves the tier 9 medium Russian tank. As you look on the mini-map, you can see, as what often happens on fiery salient and Prokhorovka, a number of tanks camping on the northwestern side of the map. Asian Infinity has spotted the KV4. Not shooting yet because he really doesn't want to get lit with so few enemy tanks hit. Gets 167 spotting damage. It looks like the artillery tracked the Russian heavy tank. Moves back so that the bush becomes opaque to minimise his chances of being spotted. He hasn't been lit, so now he can just keep firing. Personally, I would have put that shot into the side of the turret if I was him, but the RU-251 proving to be a bit of a hard target for Asian Infinity as the KV4 starts heading towards him, so he moves back, gets a nice shot. Looks like that was into the cupola. Artillery, I think, took him down to 273 hit points before the Oni sent the tier 8 Russian heavy back to the garage. 3 zip is the score. Asian Infinity's picked up 1400 assisted damage in that, which is the entire health of the Russian heavy tank. And there's that T34. Asian Infinity's just lit that T34, and of course the T44 as well, up on the hill. Looks like a few shots are going that way. Picked up a bit more assisted damage, but the T34B comes to play. Wants to get rid of that pesky tier 9 Soviet tank. So Asian Infinity takes a bit of evasive action, gets into this little puddle here beneath the hill, and he's getting himself under the guns of those heavy tanks. The T34 and the T34B, they're exactly the same tank apart from the paint job. RU-251 goes absolutely YOLO, probably looking for artillery, but gets taken out by the German Panther. T7 boxy medium tank. Now Asian Infinity trying to climb this hill here. I don't think he's under any illusion about being able to get up there, but he's just trying to keep those tanks that are on the hill lit. You can see on the minimap the T34B and the IS-3 pushing forward up towards the enemy arties, and this little bloke up here, this IS-3 up here, that's a terrible place for a Soviet heavy tank to be, especially when he's almost top tier. So the IS-3 and the T-34 looks like they're up towards that little stream up in the northwestern part of the map, and Asian Infinity trying to make something happen for his team here. They're winning by a tank, but looks like there's a lot of enemy presence on the eastern side of the railway line, but there's not much else. There's nobody. That IS-3 looks like he's going for it, for the enemy IS-3. The tank destroyer, the Steyr Waffenträger, that's a premium German tank destroyer, I think, picks up the kill on the T-34B, and with the score at 5-4, the game's sort of stagnating. T-44 spots and gets spotted by Asian Infinity, but on only a 420 hit points of health, you'd think Asian Infinity would have the goods on him. He gets him down to a 1-shot, bouncing shots all day from that AMX 1375. So he sends a tier 8 Russian medium tank back to the garage before focusing on this 1375. The T-34 gets taken out by the tier 7 British artillery piece, and Asian Infinity is going to move up to this railway line, try and spot whatever's whatever's hiding down here in the corner. Probably at least one artillery, maybe two, maybe three. The GW Panther gets spotted over on the western side. And Agent Infinity moving over here just to make sure he doesn't get lit. Puts one shot into the S51. Now that S51 and the M53 both fired then, so he can just, this is just free damage for Agent Infinity and his T54. And that's why it's running away. Does take a shot from the T10, but as the T10 comes back towards Agent Infinity, the M53, M55 gets done by the Panther. Panther having a pretty good game here, picking himself up 2 kills in this Tier 9 game. Agent Infinity grabs kill number 3, sending the 1375 back to the garage, but now it's Tier 9 versus Tier 9 here. It's Agent Infinity in his T54 versus this T10. And a bit of face hugging going on. Agent Infinity has a little bit more health than the heavy tank, but that might change. He gets set on fire and gets taken down to 454 health. Pretty much the same health as the T10, but of course Agent Infinity's rate of fire is going to be vastly better than the heavy tank. He takes another one down to 105 hit points. He's got to do something here. He's going to be in a world of bother. Now the T10's on a one shot and he's going for it. Artillery does the right thing and takes him out of the game. He does get a little bit of friendly damage, but in the end a good result. Even though it was a little bit of a weird game, that one, it's still an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge for Agent Infinity from ANZAF clan. But he also picked himself up a steel wall and a high caliber for doing all that damage in that game. Fire for effect and a spotter. Spotted about half the enemy side, or nearly half, yeah, just over half the enemy side. And not a bad game at all as we look at the second page of the post-game battle results. 4,009 hit points of damage for his 3 kills. 1387 base experience, nearly 3,000 spotting damage, and that's what that combined with the 4,000 damage that he did was enough for an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. Didn't make any credits because I think he must have had to fire some premium ammunition, probably at that T10 at the end of the game. As we move on to the second game of this double shot of Agent Infinity action featuring the T54. This time is not top tier and he's on Lakeville, and of course Lakeville is a bit of a totally different map to Fiery Salient. And in this replay you can see there's 4 tier 10 tanks on each side, including an artillery, and this STB1, I think that STB1's got his eye on that spot that Agent Infinity was in. So a bit of argy-bargy going on at the start, but you can look at the minimap of where the tanks are going. The STA1 is going up the Valley of Death. Sorry, the STB1 was up there with Agent Infinity. So Agent Infinity's getting out of there, not quite looking where he was going, and runs into the PZ58 Mutz tank, the premium German medium tank, and he's thinking, I'm going to help this STA1 in the Valley of Death by the looks of it. A lot of heavy tanks on the enemy side, and that's probably why the IS-7 is going on his own towards the city. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. If all those heavy tanks get there, of course the enemy's got an IS-7 as well. There's also as well as a T57, the Type 5 heavy, Type 4 heavy, and a few Tier 8 heavies. That IS-7 would be completely overwhelmed if he went there. Agent Infinity looking for a few chai sniping opportunities here. Puts a shot into the commander's hatch by the looks of it, into the enemy T54 medium tank. And the STA1 doing a good job keeping those tanks lit, because there are 3 artilleries on each side. I doubt the German artillery would have shots down the valley, but the other 2 most certainly would. That's probably what they're looking at. The STA1 just needs to be careful he doesn't get derped out by the T49 or even the enemy artilleries. Not known for its armour, the Japanese Tier 8 medium tank. The Tier 9 Waffle picks up a kill on that T49 derp tank. That was in the valley. Of course, that Waffle is sniping from the back, which is probably the right thing to do at this point of the game. That looks like it was an arty shot, which didn't hit anything. But the STA1 in a bit of trouble. Now, that shot come from the other side, so maybe the German does have shots into the valley. Agent Infinity picks up his first kill, makes the score 2-zip, killing the enemy T54. And with the score on 2's zip, he's picked up 366 damage so far. Nothing massive, nothing to write home about, but he's still on full health. And his team are winning 4-1. And Asian Infinity will be looking for some shots on these heavy tanks. As I thought, the enemy heavies look like they're rolling through the city. The Oho is in the Valley of Death, and those artillery drivers will be rubbing their hands together, looking at that tier 8 Japanese heavy tank, thinking, "You beauty, this is going to be free damage all the way." And Asian Infinity looking at some sniping shots on the Conqueror. Doesn't quite manage to land that shot. If that Conqueror had have continued to reverse, he definitely would have got a shot in, but he didn't. And it looks like Arties are focusing on those heavy tanks now on the eastern side. So Asian Infinity really needs to think. He's biding his time, thinking about what he's going to do. The PZ-58 Mutts as well as the Rheinmetall, the STB-1, they're all sniping from the base. STA-1 with the Jan J Panzer now, which is a newer premium German tank destroyer. With the success of the Scorpion G, it's obvious that Wargaming think people like German tank destroyers, so they released that as well. But two of them get taken out, the IS-7 and that other German tank destroyer gets taken out, evening the score up at 4 apiece. And the STA-1 in the Valley of Death, all alone now. Asian Infinity just missing out on the kill shot on the Type 5 Heavy. He does have premium ammunition loaded, just to try and make sure he pens these heavily armoured tanks. He gets one shot into the Conqueror. The Conqueror looks like it's tracked, and thank you very much, says Asian Infinity. That's kill number 2, just bringing the score up 6-4. Bit of a snipe off here. The TVP T50-51. Anyone who's platooned with me of late will know that I regard that as my cursed tank. I've had some pretty good games in it, just can't seem to get a win. Now that Oho getting a lot of attention from the Arty, but it looks like they missed some shots on the big Japanese heavy tank, and the Type 4 heavies going down the valley as well. That's just, it's time to farm damage, and that's looks like neither of those guns are firing Asian Infinity's way. So premium ammo loaded, it's time to farm damage on these big Japanese heavy tanks. That shot won't last. The STA-1 won't last. But those two Japanese heavy tanks, pretty sure Asian Infinity can keep them lit from here, continue to farm damage and get some more assisted damage from those artilleries. The Type 4 on 1383 hit points, 9-6 is the score, and Asian Infinity says, rightio, I'm coming in. Artillery shoots and misses from the enemy, and with the score on 9-6, Asian Infinity's already picked up 2,284 hit points of damage, and I'm sure you're going to see some more. Looking at the Type 4, looks like the Type 4's aiming at the STB-1. So Asian Infinity puts a shot in, and he knows he can get another shot in before he turns his turret, and he picks up kill number 3 on Lakefield. Looks like the T95 on the enemy side's in a bit of trouble from the TVP, and of course the Waffle kills the T95 on the eastern side of the map, which you might have seen on the mini-map. And with a score on 11-6, and the T57 Heavy last spotted near the town, Asian Infinity and the STB-1 are going hunting for those 3 artillery pieces. Looks like the T57 Heavy's definitely still in the town. It's been spotted by the TVP, and the TVP's on 800 health. Looks like the T57's on pretty much full health, but Asian Infinity in the T54 and Cocktail in the STB-1, they're going looking for these artillery pieces. Cocktail going the other way. Asian Infinity going this way. Auto aims, shoots and kills the Tier 10 Soviet artillery piece, and you'd imagine that the remaining artillery pieces are up here, up along the A-line, or maybe even in the town. There's the SU-14-2, the Scum Bus. That's the Tier 8 artillery piece. Asian Infinity picks up some damage, gets the spotting damage on the kill, and he's going to go looking for the big American M53 M55, the Tier 9 turreted American artillery. He sees the T57 Heavy. He's hoping that the T57 Heavy's on the reload. I would be, but not quite getting the opportunistic shot into the side. Looks like he's gone behind one of those buildings. So Asian Infinity's going to keep moving forward because he's still on 1,250 hit points. He's done over 3,500 hit points of damage. And he doesn't know, where's this American arty piece? There he is. And hello, thank you very much. There's one shot. I guess he's thinking that someone else will kill him, which is a correct assumption. And now it's time to get some damage into the rear of the American autoloader, the T57 Heavy. Looks like the T57 Heavy's shooting at somebody else, so there's no reason to move. Asian Infinity's got beautiful shots into the rear of the American Heavy tank. Gets his damage up to nearly 5,000 hit points of damage. Can he get the kill? No, it takes him down to 14. Can his gun reload in time? That's the question. There you go. Thank you very much. 5 kills and over 5,000 damage. Agent Infinity on Lakeville in the T54 Russian medium tank. It's another Ace Tanker Mastery badge. Fire for effect, and of course the high caliber. Unlucky not to get a top gun. Just one more kill on those arties would have given him a top gun, but he'll be happy with that result. Always good to get an Ace Tanker Mastery badge and work towards that third mark of excellence on the Soviet medium. 5,199 hit points of damage, 5 kills, 1367 base experience. He fired 23 shots, 20 hit, 18 went through, and that combined with a little bit of assisted damage was enough for an Ace Tanker Mastery badge for Agent Infinity in the very popular Tier 9 Soviet medium tank. Plenty of other players had good games too. The Waffenträger, the STB1, the artilleries, that IS-7. Even though he got taken out early, he still wasn't too bad in the rankings. And the TVP obviously getting a hell of a lot of assisted damage. That's why he got third. Cost him a bit of gold though, cost him a bit of credits though, without a premium account. Of course, he did have to fire some premium ammunition at those Japanese heavy tanks, but all in all, 2 pretty awesome games featuring Agent Infinity from ANZAF clan with the T54, the Tier 9 Russian medium tank. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the replays, Agent, and take care and see you all next time.